morning. Cold start. And that's it. Not much to hear, right? It is nice to be back. Doing some EV motoring. I just need to stop by the grocery store, pick up just a few lunchtime essentials. So, as I mentioned, it's good to be back. Good to be back in the Kia. I was feeling some, sorrow slash just missing my friend the LS400 yesterday. But on part 2 of my drive, like coming home, I was delighted to be in the Kia. It's just modern traffic requires modern solutions. And my windshield is so dirty. Can't see. Help. There we go. But yeah, modern problems require modern solutions. I feel like with my schedule, I need this modern solution of car because it doesn't use much gas. And, oftentimes if the HOV lane can save me 3 minutes, that can make the difference between having time to, prepare for my job or eat something or use the bathroom or, whatever it happens to be, in the off chance that I'm cutting it close. Okay, it may not be an off chance. It's very possible. I do my best to be, early to everything, but sometimes like traffic and home stuff just makes it a little bit harder. It's just how it goes. And I think everyone that deals with Southern California traffic can relate to me. I mean, everyone can relate to me anyway, regardless of where you live. And there are always going to be times when, like, you should have woken up 20 minutes earlier, or you just couldn't get moving, or right before you were about to leave, you had to change a diaper, not your own. Let me be clear, but maybe, I don't know. But yeah, these are all just kind of things that happen, regardless of. Oh my gosh, come on, dude. Really? You're gonna go 15 miles an hour before turning? Smooth move. Okay, I'm a little spicy. Like, I'm not in a hurry yet, but I'm in a hurry. So, while I was at the grocery store, like I was about to leave, and I saw something that really made me kind of cringe. And I was thinking about what are the top things that would be good to kind of just take care of your car a little bit better. And so I saw someone who didn't have mechanical sympathy. And that's kind of my topic for today, is have mechanical sympathy for your car. I'm sure you've seen people that, don't know how to use a computer well, so they just kind of click everything, click. And then the computer kind of gets bogged down. It's like, because they don't have mechanical sympathy. They don't respect the process, of how the machine works. And same thing with cars, okay? So I saw someone backing out of a parking spot, and then I didn't really see any brake lights come on, and I just heard it click, go into drive, and then the car just kind of then had to go forward, and it just made me cringe. Now, granted, it's something we've all done, like driving an automatic car and also a manual car. I mean, I think we're all guilty of that. But don't do that. That's number 1 on my list. Use your brakes, stop the car, put it in gear. Don't just, you're just asking for trouble. It's only a matter of time before that's gonna, end up costing you a ton of money. Now, the person I saw doing this was in a Toyota. Maybe they'll get away with it, but I hope not. Anyway, so that's number 1 on the list. Number 2 on the list, very similar gripe. Okay, well, it's not a gripe. It's just like, it makes me cringe. You know, maybe it's an OCD problem. Maybe that's on me. But I like to take care of my cars, and it pains me when I see people not taking care of their cars. You understand? So, second thing, set your parking brake and make sure that the car is not going to move before you put it into park or into your final, parking gear if you're in a stick shift. So what I do, and even in this car, which has an electronic parking brake, which works really well. I miss pulling the lever or, pushing on the thing. Or, it's nice to have that manual control, but I gotta say, man, the electronic parking brake seems to just deliver awesome clamping power. You don't have to worry about it. It's the same every time. I mean, Scotty Kilmer says they're all going to break, but I don't know. Have any of you had an electric parking brake, have a mechanical failure yet? I mean, I just don't hear people complaining about that. So, you're probably right, Scotty. I don't know. And
in 1 mile,
I'm with you that, pulling a lever it's very satisfying, and but those break too. So I've had parking brake cables break. My first car, I'd pull as hard as I could. Really, no parking brake to speak of. I was pretty much just sitting on the pin of that transmission. But yeah, in this car, when I'm parking on any kind of an incline, actually pretty much anywhere, I'll put it in neutral, pull up the parking brake, take my foot off the brake, make sure that the car is settled, and then put it into park. And that's just a good practice. Do that in a stick shift car too. Pull the brake, neutral, let your foot off the brake, make sure the car's not going to move, and then put it into, first or reverse or whatever you prefer for your parking. Can't remember what I do in my Corvette. I generally park it on flat surfaces, so it doesn't much matter as long as it's in gear. I think I usually put it in first. I think that's my play. When I had my Mustang, I usually parked it in reverse. But I just can't remember. So that's that one. The next one, stop slamming your doors. Find out the minimal amount of effort to close your car door, right? And do that. I see people all the time, I've again, these are all things that we've all done, especially if we're in a hurry or whatever, run out of the car, slam the door. It's certainly out of anger that can happen, pretty easily. But just day to day, find out what's the minimal amount of effort you can use to close your door. Because slamming it repeatedly can cause a lot of problems. You can wear out you can certainly do damage to the hinges. You can do damage to the striker assembly, that closes the door. You can damage the alignment of the door. You can damage the window regulator inside the door, cause that to fall apart. You can actually break the glass of your window. You can even dent your car, or you can dent the door. So just, very gingerly try and figure out what that, where that point is. Because I see people just,
Use the right
and what really hurts is when people don't realize that a car has soft close doors or trunk. I know in my dad's car, he's got a soft close trunk, and it used to happen all the time. If we went to the airport, a porter would load the trunk and just bam, oh no, don't do that. One car that's kind of exempt from that would be the C6 Corvette. I think also the C5 Corvette. The deal is the cabin kind of creates a seal, and so when you close the trunk or the hatch rather, there's an issue with the air pressure. I can't remember. I watched a video that explained it, and so the hatch doesn't actually want to close. So they actually installed and you gotta love Chevrolet for not actually addressing the issue. They're like, huh, this is weird. So instead of fixing the the cause of the problem, they just put a pull down mechanism in the hatch. Brilliant. And those do fail. So you do have to kind of slam the Corvette hatch in order for it to close properly. I don't know why they didn't put like a soft close thing that would just go, but it's like you have to, at least in mine, but I think it's kind of that way with all of them. So that's pretty hilarious. And then kind of the last one on my list, and this one just hurts my feelings when I see it. And we see it less and less now as the excuse me, as manual transmissions are becoming more and more scarce. But people that are on a hill and they just kind of rock their car back and forth, that just, you're gonna just wear out so many things. But it's always some, what I hate about what I'm saying right now is that, like, I'm saying that and I know I'm right, like, I'm sure of it. It's bad for the clutch, it's bad for the throw-out bearing, it's bad for the transmission, it's bad for whatever, front wheel drive or rear wheel drive. It's hard on all of those components. And yet, usually when you see people doing that, they'll be in some like really dirty, messed up, like old Honda or Nissan, and they've got 290,000 miles on the original clutch. And they've been driving it that way for 20 years and never had a problem. I mean, whereas like I would do that 3 times and my clutch would burn out. Like, I'm sure of it. So, that's kind of a funny thing. Wow, this is difficult. There's a truck really close. I hate this freeway interchange because it's like I always have to scoot over like 4 or 5 lanes in order to catch the HOV, and I'm in. I got to tell you, friends, having the HOV sticker, I missed it. I thought I was getting by without it. No. I must have it. It's amazing. It's not always the answer, but it's usually the answer. And I'm loving it. Looks like I'm behind a Hyundai Kona. He's got the same purple stickers that I do, and I'm sure loving it. I am curious to get behind the wheel of one of those. As I mentioned in a few of my ramblings, I am kind of intrigued by the Kia and Hyundai EV offerings, and curious to see kind of where prices go. I mean, I'm thinking like by the time the stickers expire on this car, hopefully car prices will have kind of normalized a little bit. I don't know what this car is going to be worth at that point, but if I could get into a Hyundai or Kia EV that has kind of the same features as this car, I think I would be pretty pleased with that. I don't much care for the way the Niro and the Kona look. They're kind of, and no offense if any of you drive those out there, I mean, I get it. It's not necessarily a car you buy for the looks of it, you buy it for what it can do. And I don't think it's a bad looking car, it's just not like, I don't really go out, I just can't see myself like coming out from work and seeing that in the parking lot and going like, oh yeah, I get to drive that. I know some of you are laughing at me saying like, dude, you're in an Optima, like what are you, what? Like, do you say that about your Optima? Yeah, I do actually. Like, I think this is a really nice looking car, and it's just my opinion. I didn't buy it for how it looks, but it is a good looking car. There's a guy I've been working for a long time, just on occasion, and he's a car guy. He drives a classic Mercedes. Like, it's so cool. I'm not going to name his name, but his name's John. And I'm sure you're not watching, John, but I love your car. And I showed him a picture of this when I got it. I didn't tell him what it was. And he was like, oh, is that did you get a BMW 4 Series? No, I'm sure he couldn't see on my phone too clearly what I had, but it really, if you squint and you don't see the Kia badges, like it does kind of resemble a 3 or 4 Series BMW. Or I guess like in the dark after a few beers, it looks like a BMW. But still, like I think it kind of does. If you look at the way like the instrumentation is laid out, it does kind of remind me of like the 2014 BMW. Like you can see that they were definitely kind of modeling that with how they were doing the interior design and the design language in general of the car. And I think like if you look back over the last, 10 years or so, at all the Kia, Hyundai, and Genesis models, I think it would be fair and not at all mean to say they are the great imitators. They have innovated some of their own stuff, but in general, it seems that they've kind of taken what exists and just kind of made their version of it. And hey, why not? If you look at the BMW plugins, which I drool every time I see them. I mean, like 330e, the 530e. There's like an X5e. I can't remember what it's called. I go every time I see one. I just think, oh man, if only I didn't mind making that higher car payment, higher insurance payment, and more gas, and less electric range, I would so rock that car. And I still might. I mean, if work really takes off for me, and I feel like there's room in the budget, that I may in fact look into one of those, because you can get a pretty good deal on a pre-owned one. Like I would never buy a new one, of course, but those are nice. And if you look at this car, it has a lot of the same. And some of my friends from where I'm going today will appreciate this joke, accoutrement that the BMWs have. If you look at the way the seats are designed, they look very similar to the BMW seats, except they don't have the little thigh extension thing, which I love, 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 love. I think the Genesis, and certainly I think the Equus has those. I just think all cars should have those. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, it's at like the bottom of the car seat, of like the driver and passenger seat, and there's a little kind of front section that slides forward a little bit. In case you have longer legs, it kind of, extends the seat out to provide a little more support for your thighs and right like almost before your kneecap. My BMW had that, and it was just so great, especially on a long trip. Just have that like extra little bit of support so that your legs aren't or that your feet and calves aren't like pulling down on your knee, and it's just nice having that little bit of lift there. It's really great. I wish all the cars I buy, I wish all cars had them, because this really isn't a one-size-fits-all situation with car seats. Everyone is different. Everyone has different aches and pains, and all of that. And I remember having a debate years ago with my buddy Morty, and I know I mention him a lot, but shout out to Morty if you're watching, or maybe your cat's watching. Hi, Morty's cat. Yeah. And so I'm considerably taller than Morty. And so, he was kind of telling me, like, we were just kind of like commiserating about our various issues with buying cars. Because I was kind of like, I was just saying like, well, there just aren't that many cars that fit me, and I'm just not comfortable in any of them, and this and that. And he had the same complaint. He said, yeah, like, he's like, the car that works for you may not work for me, because, like, now you have enough room, but I feel like I'm driving a school bus, like all this extra room. And, can't see over the steering wheel, can't see. And Morty's not that small of a guy, but I mean, like, he's smaller than me, you know. I'm just considerably larger than Morty, let's just say. And but that, you know, that's a great example. Like, and my wife is about a foot shorter than me, right? So the kind of car that's going to fit me and the kind of car that's going to fit her, very different. The ergonomics that are required for both of us are very different. You know, my Lexus works really well for my wife, actually, because she doesn't need headroom the way I do. And that seat just kind of fits her like a glove. For me, like, my shoulders are like just above the back of the car seat. The headrest doesn't come up high enough. Like, the roof is too low, so I hit my head, you know, so I have to kind of lean back and drive like this. And I'm sure you've all seen me in those videos where I'm driving the LS. And that's what's so great about this car, is that, like, I have the seat. I'm certainly, like, in my, like, cruising comfortable position, and I like to recline a little bit anyway. But I mean, I could sit more upright in this seat and be perfectly comfortable. So it is nice when I find a car that provides that kind of comfort for me. And oddly enough, my buddy Morty has one of these. His just isn't the plug-in. But this is one of those rare cars that he's comfortable in. He doesn't feel like he's swimming around in it. And I'm comfortable in. I feel like there's adequate legroom, adequate headroom. You know, the seat is comfortable and provides support and all of that good stuff. So that's what I'm just saying, like, car makers, if you're listening, which I'm sure you're not, but give us as much adjustability in the seats as possible. You know, give us those thigh extenders, man, please. That was like the one thing when I was car shopping, you know, for this car, I noticed that there weren't the extensions there, and I was like, ooh, that might be a problem. Thankfully, it's a pretty generous sized cushion, so it's not really much of an issue. But I would, you know, if I had my choice, that's certainly what I would do. So right now, I have activated the adaptive cruise, which I'm putting a lot of faith in the dealership that they hooked up all the modules again, and that everything. I actually haven't tried the adaptive cruise yet. So this is the first time. You know, with this car, I don't generally use the cruise much on the freeway, just because, well, I mean, that's not true. I did use it last night. The thing that's a little annoying about adaptive cruise is that, like if you're in the left lane and you're cooking, you know, you're trying to get somewhere, right? Fellas, you know what I'm talking about. And then there's somebody that's going 58 and a 65, you know, and they're in the left lane. You're not going to roll up on them angrily, you know, like, or hastily. You're not going to roll up on them and give them the, like, hey, you know, I'm trying to get somewhere, you know, move it, because the adaptive cruise is just going to, like, slow you down to 58, and you're going to be a certain distance, and, you know, they may not even realize that they're going so slowly, or that, you get what I'm saying, you know. I mean, I don't like to drive, like, too aggressively. I don't like to ride people's tails. Not that it doesn't happen, but you know, I try to be as safe as I can. But you know, I do generally like to get at least close enough that, like, they know, like, hey, like, move over. And so that's like the only thing about adaptive cruise. But like right now, the speed limit is, I don't know, I could ask the cop next to me, but I'm not going to. Yeah, that's an all black police interceptor, but it's the Ford Explorer, so you just don't know. Like, it could be a soccer mom, although I know it's not. It says California exempt, and then there's an American flag sticker on the side. That's usually a pretty good indication that, plus it has dual exhaust and it has cop wheels, and the guy driving it looks like he's not playing games. That's a cop. But yeah, so right now, like the speed limit is whatever it is. I've set my, let's see if this works. I've set my cruise to 60. And I'm going 30. So, you know, it's nice. We accelerated up to about 50. The car in front of me slowed down significantly. And, yes. I'm still a little nervous, like having the car drive for me, just because I haven't done it for a month, so it takes a little getting used to. But like, this is great. You know, I'm going 20 now, and you know, my right foot isn't going gas brake, gas brake, gas brake, gas brake, and it's just such a great feature. It's that one feature that I lamented losing while this car was in the shop. And there are some other features that I missed, like auto hold, which is awesome. When you come to a stop, you can get your foot off the brake and the car just holds. Love that. Lane keep assist, I don't much care for. I wonder if it works better now. Well, no. No. I've turned it on, so we'll see. I was really thinking that it was going to like move the steering wheel. Then when I bought the car, it didn't do that. It just made a beep on whatever side the lane marking was. So I generally don't use that feature. I'm going to ride the left one. Wow, it doesn't work at all. I kind of figured there were going to be some things that got overlooked. The question now is like, when do I take this thing back to the dealership, and how long do I want to be without it again? I don't want to be without it at all. But we'll see how that. We'll see where my level of care is. It's just like with stuff like that, I feel like you get to a point where you just don't even want to deal with it anymore, and so you just let a problem just stay a problem because it doesn't affect drivability. But then when it comes time to sell the car, you know, your new buyer is going to have a little bit of leverage on you. So, you know, I'm always kind of thinking 2 steps ahead in that way. Like, okay, like, do I want to pay for it now, or do I want to pay for it on the back end? And I think, just being slightly OCD, I think I would rather pay for it now, or more like deal with it now. And especially when it's fresh off of the insurance repair or warranty repair. I'm just a little concerned with taking it back to the dealership. Like, when are they going to squeeze me in? Because there were so many cars there. I mean, it just, and for the lady to say, yeah, well, if I put you on hold for 30 minutes, that's why. That's not an acceptable answer to me. And again, no offense to her, because I know she's working as hard as she can. But like, you know, what's up with that dealership? Why are they so understaffed? Why are they so mismanaged? I think it just comes down to the mean green. They don't want to pay, which is a problem. That's a problem. All right. 605 South HOV. Now watch in my window. So, you know, it didn't appear for the last like 5-10 minutes that my car was saving me any time. But check me out now. Just watch the cars. See you later. Yeah. I don't want to go too fast passing these nice folks, because I do see people doing bonehead moves and jumping into the carpool lane, going 20 miles per hour. So I do try to kind of be conscious of that fact, and it always makes me nervous. But in any case, those are just some things I was thinking about. A little State of the Union on the car. We're actually still in EV mode, which is great. So I'm sure you saw when I left this morning, we were at 25, 26 miles per gallon, because I just filled up last night. Now I'm sitting at like less than a quarter of my EV charge. So it's saying that like I've got 6 miles of EV range left and 511 gasoline miles left, which I don't believe, but whatever. Averaging, instead of 26 miles per gallon, 85.2 miles per gallon, or I guess equivalent. Pretty good. Gone 36 miles since refilling, averaging a speed of 41 miles per hour and 51 minutes of driving. So I will check in towards the end of the day, or if I happen to see something cool on the road, we'll take a look. Bigfoot is the best. Sorry if you like other trucks, but it's all about Bigfoot for me. Anyway, I will check back later. Well, okay. So it looks like we're pretty much, I'm not where I need to be yet, but just about there. So just a little State of the Union update, some real world. I was not driving with a lead foot, but I wasn't really trying to hypermile either. So the drive down here, 67.9 miles per gallon. Oops, wrong button. 58.5 miles since refuel, 45 miles per hour average, and an hour and 17 minutes of drive time. So that's what we're doing. And there you can see, economical driving, 10%. So I didn't really care. I just wanted to get here, and I knew I would get better than 20 miles per gallon. 503 miles of range remaining. And yeah, and when people ask me about like, oh, are hybrids a good deal? Like, these are the moments. Like right now, this light takes forever. Where you can see like I'm not burning any gas. Like we're chilling. And this is where like the hybrid side of any of these cars really comes in handy. Because why run the gas engine when you're just sitting here? Like, this is great. This is great. As you can see now, like we are using some battery. We're still silently EV rolling, or hybrid rolling, whatever you want to think. And anywho, I will check back later. Well, friends, we made it. It's the end of the day. It's dark outside. Turns out lane keep assist seems to function, so that's good. I'm happy about that. Little State of the Union, state of the gas mileage, whatever. We did a lot of uphill. I was able to charge at work, so that was good. Cost me like $2.16. That's kind of a drag coming home. It's a lot of uphill, so I sucked through that power pretty quickly. So average at the end of the day here, 58.1, 104.4 miles. Oh, all the information was there. Well, you can see, well, I don't remember being 31% aggressive, but I remember being way more economical. But whatever driving style, you can say what you want about me. You can see totally out of juice. So yeah, 450 miles, 455 of range, and then average 35 miles per hour, 2 hours and 57 minutes of driving. So yeah, in 104 miles, that was a lot of traffic, you know what I mean? And I'm certainly feeling it. So on that note, I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.